one of the most successful people within our organisation in the senior agents.
I think people become a product of their environment. I believe sales is about providing solutions to people's problems.
You created a strategy, you end up selling that property for at least 20, maybe even 25% above market comparable sales.
The way that we market property and the way that we're sold to now is very different. You know, we're going through the biggest platform shift from what radio to TV was.
Digital, social, different techniques, how you can differentiate yourself and how you can leverage your clients.
I walked past the sales board and I was just like, how is this even real life? I'm Jamie Harrison with Kollosche. I'm the lead agent with Team Harrison. We have 4 members in our team, Stacey Hartfield being our business manager, Corey Bedford being our co-agent, and also Zach Palmer, our sales associate.
So Jamie, you've been with us now at Kollosche coming up 3 years next week. Tell us a little bit about your transition from your previous agencies that you worked at into Kollosche, how you've grown and developed over the last 3 years, and just a bit about your success moving into one of the most successful people within our organisation in the senior agents.
Yeah, what a ride, I guess. It's time travels pretty quickly when you're having a good time, I guess. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously I was with the previous brand for 4.5 years. I started in real estate with them. I've always been in sales, always, you know, I came from a business-to-business sales background, so I used to sell photocopiers many years ago, so it's pretty hard to get excited about a photocopier, so I guess you learn a few things, and I think that has helped me just approach what I do in a slightly probably more pragmatic way. I always sort of look for the problems, and I believe sales is about providing solutions to people's problems. So I'm always digging deep to try and identify what those problems are, how we can help them. It's not really you're not really selling someone if you're helping them. I guess the solution sort of does that for you. So yeah, was with a previous brand for 4.5 years. Came across to Kollosche with Corey from my team, and I think the biggest thing that I realized coming from that other brand was just I remember walking past the sales board, and for the first week, it took me a week to actually comprehend the size of the deals and the consistency of them. And I remember just I walked past the sales board and I was just like, how is this even real life? And I think it's a lot comes back to the environment that you've created, and you sort of start to really realize your true potential when you're surrounded by people that are achieving things far greater than what you were used to. I think people become a product of their environment, and coming from a lot of those franchise brands that champion people for really just doing their job, I think it's very easy to get complacent and think you're a big fish in a small pond, when really there's so much more out there if you're sort of wanting to search for it.
Yeah, so essentially you've really expanded your thinking and moving across into a lot of different sectors. Your average sale price has increased considerably, growing your team. I've noticed you're actually taking a lot more interest into how we actually can improve our business and the offering to the overall customer. So it'd be fair to say that the environment has expanded your thinking and allowed you to increase your personal best by 6 times since joining the business.
Yeah, and I think just the environment that we've got. Obviously, we're all here to enjoy what we do and be the best at what we do. And I think having you as a leader showing us what is possible and showing that you can collaborate, you can help each other. It's not what yours is yours and you can't share it with anyone else. It's like they're getting rid of that scarcity mindset, which I think in a number of sales organizations, it's dog eat dog, right? And I think it's just showing that you can go against the grain, you can be the top agent in the country and still help people and still run a business and still have all those other areas of your life in sync. And yeah, I think it's about, I guess, where I'm at now, it's about growing and developing my team, teaching them the lessons that I learned along the way that maybe I didn't always get, probably the mentorship that I was hoping for, and just being able to share that wisdom so that you can see them grow and achieve their goals and move on to achieve what they want to ultimately achieve. And I think that's a big part of it, is actually understanding what the goals are of the people around you so you can help them to facilitate that And understanding what gets them out of bed every morning is going to not only benefit you as a leader, but also benefit the business. They're going to be more happier coming to work. You're going to get more out of them, and they're ultimately going to look after the clients a lot better on behalf of both mine and Kollosche's businesses as well. So there's definitely a lot of learnings there, and I'm excited to sort of see where that next phase of growth sort of takes us.
Yep. And you've always taken a pretty strong interest in the marketing side of the business, even before joining Kollosche, and I guess trying to get quite granular on detail around all of those things, whether it be digital, social, different techniques, how you can differentiate yourself, and how you can leverage your clients and your network and the database to achieve results that far exceed those of your peers. And how do you think the platform has helped with that? And obviously the K Media Group that we've set up with all of the marketing that we're leading towards now. I guess probably just sharing some of your insights on that.
Yeah, I think obviously the way that we market property and the way that we're sold to now is very different. We're going through the biggest platform shift from what radio to TV was, in terms of, between Apple, Google and Facebook, they know everything about all of us. They're delivering ads to us almost before we know that we need them. I think it's once you embrace that, you're going to live a better quality life, because you're going to get time back. You're only going to be served ads for things that are relevant to you. So I think just really peeling back the layers of the onion to understand who is our most likely buyer demographic for a home, where are they currently, how do we get in front of them, how do we create content that's going to speak to them in the way they want to receive it, and actually take control of the marketing process rather than wait for, relying on hope or for it to happen by chance. I think the more we can take control of that process, the more confidence it gives our sellers that we're in control of the process rather than the process controlling us. I think that the power of data, understanding who it is, what the demographics are, where do they live, what do they earn, what shops do they like to go to, where do they travel overseas. If you've got a $3 million home on the river, you probably have a European car, you probably go to Europe once a year, your wife may shop at, the designer shops at Pac Fair. So it's just about being a lot more granular to create a robust strategy that's going to get in front of more people that are more likely to buy or have the capacity to purchase the home that you're selling, and forgetting about the rest, so that you can just be more to the people that are more in sync with what it is that we're selling. And I think it's just about providing that better customer experience along the way as well.
So what do you have to say to clients that would focus wholly and solely on choosing an agent based on their fee or the smallest marketing campaign they could put together versus the strategies that we've been creating and deploying? And like I've seen some instances, the Lake House as an example in Benoa Waters, where you created a strategy there. They interviewed probably 10 agents. You were probably one of the highest budgets and highest fees, but you end up selling that property for at least 20, maybe even 25% above market comparable sales by attracting non-active buyers that wouldn't have been looking in Benoa Waters to come and have a look at that, and selling it for $6,335,000 when the highest sale on the lake previously had been 3.5. So what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think, again, coming back to, if you think about, I knew with that campaign that the traditional mediums weren't going to get, if we waited for a buyer to come to us, the buyer was unlikely to find us, because a $5, $6, $7 million buyer wasn't traditionally going to be looking in Benoa Waters, where the average sale price is significantly less. So I knew we had to create a robust strategy that was going to allow us to take our seller's property to buyers in surrounding suburbs of a similar price point, and then obviously build up the value as to why this property was more value or more appealing to them than what else they may have also been considering. So I think it's that strategic approach of really sort of, again, peeling back the layers of the onion, understanding who is the most likely buyer for the home, really sort of taking the time to create a strategy, creating multiple sort of videos. We broke things down into, not only did we have the standard property video, we had a separate edit for socials, which was like the trailer of a video before we show them the actual movie. We had posts that were focusing more on the architectural flares of the home to appeal more to people that were inspired by architecture and building and design. We had a video that was more focused on the lifestyle of the property, being a lake with a flight board, with the aspirational Ferrari pulling into the driveway. So it was just, we just left no stone unturned to ensure that every buyer in the market that was looking at property between $4.5 and $8 million on the Gold Coast at that time saw our property and then dismissed it for whatever reason, or came through and engaged with us. And I think,
regardless of location,
Yeah.
as long as they were in that price
100%.
bracket, you wanted to get in front of them.
yeah, and at the end of the day, buyers don't know what they want until they see it.
Yep.
You know, how many times have people said, "Oh, we want to be on the beachfront," and they go and buy acreage?
Yep.
So it's, you know, sometimes I think you've got to protect buyers from themselves by showing them all the options, because the reality is they don't really know what they really truly want until it's in front of them.
And so in an example like that, would it be fair to say that the wrong agent might have undersold that by 20 to 25%?
100%.
Yeah.
Or not sold it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And then coming into a declining market, what's then the lost opportunity cost of that seller then trying to chase their tail as the market's then falling away? So, you know, it could have been millions of dollars at the end of the day. You just don't know. But I guess, you know, as a seller, are you willing to take that risk? Because it can be a pretty costly one.
Yep. So tell me a bit more about your personal development over the last probably 3 years. You sort of now used this business as a bit of a platform. You're moving into doing some of your own smaller property developments, and I guess taking the income and what you're generating here and the opportunity that you've had and the success you've had to now look at this as a revenue stream that allows you to sort of move to the next level and build a decent asset base for long-term retirement.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess for me, very early on, like I know you and I, you know, caught up many years ago before I even, you know, joined you and the team. To me, real estate was always a vehicle to make cash flow and meet the right people. I think, you know, real estate, like it's an amazing industry, but I think you've also got to use it as a tool to springboard you into doing, you know, to follow more of your passions. Obviously, marketing and real estate is one of them, but, you know, getting into property development, creating something, creating more of like a legacy piece, creating, again, additional revenue streams. I really want to get into that build to rent type space with affordable housing. And, you know, all you have to do is look at the increase in property versus the increase in average weekly wages. Like the disparity is getting broader and broader, you know, every week. So there's going to become a point where people can't afford your average 4 or 5 bedroom home on the water. And people are going to start living more simply. They're going to want to still be in central areas. So with that in mind, I'm lucky that I've got a few mentors and some of the veterans in the industry that have sort of taken me under their wing and taught me, you know, a few of their things that they've learned along the way and the wisdom that they've taken from, you know, being through sort of 3 decades of property cycles. And yeah, so we're just sort of exploring with some other opportunities, and that's where the power of my team and me being able to build my team up and, you know, I guess pass on just some of the opportunities that I've had. You know, I may not be on every listing all the time, but if I can nurture and grow and develop my guys along the journey with me, and teach them some of the things that I wish I was probably taught a little sooner, so that they can progress in their careers sooner than maybe what I had. I think to me that's sort of that next stage of growth and where I'm looking to go.
And I think you talk about mentorship from a lot of these industry veterans, but that stuff doesn't just happen. You actually seek them out, form relationships with them, and actually approach them and talk to them and have the courage to do that. And I think that's probably where a lot of people lack. They sit back, they wait for things to happen, and they don't actually, they're not aggressive in that approach, and they don't know what they want, or they're, I guess, have a fear of rejection. But most of these mentors that you've met and you've had conversations with are all too happy to share their advice and support you and teach you some of the things that they've learned along their journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it comes down to that self-awareness of knowing what it is that you want. And a lot of people, at the end of the day, they see, or maybe they do or they don't, but they see their younger self in the younger people that they mentor. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are only too happy to share. It's just people don't actually give them the opportunity to do so. So it's, yeah, I think it's knowing what it is that you want and not being afraid to ask what lessons people have learned along the way. What would you do differently if you were 28 years younger? Because, you know, like you said, you don't want to get to the end of your time and look back and have any regrets and go, oh, if only I did this differently, or I should have taken more chance here, or so I think just really understanding, being really clear about what it is that you want and asking for the help of those around you that have walked the path that you aspire to walk down.
And that's pretty much the advice you'd give to your younger self.
Yeah, I think probably just being a little bit more bolder and just believing in yourself. I think that's one thing when people ask me what's the difference between working with Kollosche and you and the other agencies, is that I think it's just you instill the belief that we are worthy of representing the $5 million homes or the $10 million homes. Like, the process is pretty much identical. Yes, how you deal with people, you might have some intricacies around, difficult transactions and whatnot, but it all starts with belief. And if you don't believe in you, then how's someone else going to believe in you? So I think it's just, really understanding what it is that you are capable of, how you want your life to look. You often reinforce to us about life by design. You just got to know what it is that you want and work towards that. And yes, obviously it will be daunting and there'll be challenges and you'll have self-doubt, but if you keep pushing forward, you look back and it's never as daunting as you thought it was before you started. And I think that's just part of the growth and development of the culture that we've sort of created within the business.
And I think, looking from the outside, you're obviously putting a lot of time and effort into developing your skills, your product knowledge, and in every sector of the business, whether it be marketing, whether it be compliance, whether it be legal, whether it be training the other team members, stepping up and running some of those sessions as well. And so seeing that personal growth and all of those things that you've been doing over the last 3 years, and I think the easiest way to learn in this industry is to stand in front of people and teach them yourself. It's amazing how much it really makes you recall on all the things that you've done. So I guess seeing that through the next 3 years, what's your sort of plans for the next 2, 3? Have you got any sort of immediate plans there or aspirations with your team?
Yeah, I think I really want to grow and develop my team and I guess, just move into some bigger opportunities and get Corey and Zach up to running, really successful businesses, get them up to, higher up the sales board and help them achieve what they want to achieve. I also want to sort of venture out into some more property development opportunities and just, get my teeth stuck into that as additional revenue streams down the track. But right now I think that, there's a huge amount of opportunity in what we do, and in this changing market, I think the professionals are really going to step up and there's going to be some others that step to the side. So we're just going to continue to build on what we've got and go from strength to strength and ultimately just have fun with it along the way. I think, it's all very well working hard and making all this money, but if you're not enjoying it, it's, what's the point?
And we've got a pretty tight group of senior agents within the business there, and probably just tell us a little bit more about that collaboration and how you work with a lot of those guys, and just for anyone looking on the outside in.
Yeah, I think it's really important to, obviously there's so many different ways that people go about doing business, right? Like how you do business, how Troy does business, how Eddie does business, how Duncan does business. There's no one way to go about it. You're dealing with so many different personalities in the marketplace. People resonate with different people for different reasons. So I think by bringing all of our senior agents together, it just allows us to grow and develop and benefit together from everybody's experiences and learnings. It also helps us create that structure and framework to develop the junior agents so that all the responsibility isn't on us when we're trying to do deals, we're trying to run teams, we're trying to mentor, we're got personal lives. So just being able to sort of bounce around the wisdom of those senior guys and helping the junior agents sort of grow and develop, and even the mid-tier agents just with little things about, even just like human psychology of how to go about things, or the self-awareness of knowing what sort of clients you want to be working with and who you actually enjoy working with, and maybe not chasing the people that are going to drain all your energy or aren't aligned with you or for whatever reason. So I think just those different facets of the transaction, other than buyers, sellers, deals, I think there's a lot of other things that we all collaborate with and share that wisdom amongst us as well, which makes us stronger together ultimately.
Perfect. So about Corey, he's probably moved now through a role of came across with you as an initial sales associate, and he's moving now across into what we'd call an emerging agent. Yep. And then eventually down the track we'll probably move into being his own lead agent. But watching him develop, came across with you from Ray White, and now he's listing and selling a lot of properties underneath you with your guidance in conjunction with you. Yep. As what we'd call an emerging agent.
Yeah, so I think Corey's growth and development, so he's been with me for 4 years, 12 months previously at the previous agency, 3 years now with Kollosche. I think the growth and development of Corey is, he's obviously been with me a long time, he understands what we do, how we do it, but I think the real growth for him has come in him finally believing that he is worthy of listing $2-3+ million homes on his own. I think he always, like previously, sort of had that self-doubt that he wasn't quite worthy or able. But now that's sort of really sunken in the last 6 months, and he's really sort of stepped up. He's had his best year ever, which is as much as I had in my best year at my previous office. So it's really excited to sort of see his growth and development, and we want to sort of keep pushing him forward and providing him with the resources and the support he needs to be the best that he can be. And then Zach is not too far behind him for 21. Really driven, really aspirational, just really focused on and determined to succeed. He's got photos of the car he wants, and he wants to be #1 sales associate. So just really sort of fostering that rivalry in a healthy, competitive way. I think will really underpin the growth of our team, and really excited to see sort of where they go from there. And ultimately, Stacey, she's the boss of our team, so she tells us where to be and what to do, and we just do as we told her. We'll get in trouble. So,
but you get a bit of a kick out of that sort of personal development. It's not till you go through that process, and as I said, a lot of people actually thrive on watching everyone else succeed and watching them grow and watching them 2x, 3x, 4x, 6x, 7x their best years, and watching that personal development, watching them achieve their goals, and knowing that you're a part of that mentoring, and it's similar to obviously some of the veterans that mentor you, and they get to see your success inside and outside of real estate.
Yeah, I think when I started real estate, I was on $600 a week. Literally for 2 years, door knocked the whole of Broadbeach Waters, being told to, doors slammed in my face because nobody really wants to know you. And once you go through that journey, and then you get the money, you have the material things you want, you have the life that you always aspired to get to, you realize that you don't actually feel that different once you get the things that you want to how you think you would. And it's not until you actually give back to nurture and grow and develop and help someone else below you walk your path quicker than what you did, that I think it's just a lot more fulfilling.
And in doing that, you've also probably played a pretty big role in our community fund as well, which goes back towards giving back to the community, helping those in need, and I know that's something you've been pretty active with.
Yeah, and I think another thing that you've instilled in a lot of us is like the more you give, the more you get. We're quite fortunate that we're in a business where sometimes deals happen easier than others, and I just believe that the more that you give back, if we've had we've all had a really good 2 or 3 years, and the more that we can give back to help those less fortunate, I feel like it's just good karma. I think that comes back around again, and none of us are getting out of here alive, right? So I think you just got to do your bit along the way, and really proud to be a part of the community fund, and I think that's going to be an integral part of how we support the community moving forward.